Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mastering Maize and Blue. I'm Christina, and this is the podcast for health professions advising. And we also have another OL with us with two of the guests from HPA advising. I'm Christina, and I am on the pre-veterinary track, and I am majoring in behavioral and biological sciences. I am involved in a lot of clubs on campus, and I am just focusing on the community aspect of everything that I do. I currently do not have a set mission that you will get to find out what a mission actually is when you actually meet with the HPA team. But yeah, I'm excited to receive help because I'm just glad that these lovely people are here to help us when we are confused on a certain aspect of our journey or marathon, as so to say, for the health tracks.
Thank you, Christina. My name is Sarah. I am the other orientation leader. I'm going to my sophomore year, and I am a health and human services major with a pre-med concentration. I am involved in the Women in Learning and Leadership club, which has sort of pushed me into minoring into women's and gender studies, which I'm really excited about. My main focus right now is honestly just focusing on school, trying to keep my grades up, and also staying involved in my community. Not everything you see, you do for the resume to put on your resume for med school. You should also care about the community, and I'm involved a lot in my local mosque. So that's a really big deal for me. And now I'd like to introduce you to our guests who are going to be helping us out here today.
Hello, good afternoon, and I'm so excited to see everyone, or see everyone in quotes. My name is Tahnee Prokopow. I'm the Director of Health Professions Advising at the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And now I'll turn it over to Ali. And this is Ali Pavlicek. Ali Pavlicek is a START advisor in our START office, and she also serves as a member of the Health Professions Advising team as a Health Professions Advisor.
I'm here. Sorry, y'all. I ran into a little technical issue. Thank you, Mrs. P, for that wonderful introduction. And again, I'm Ali. I support Mrs. P through HPA.
So our first question to the HPA team is, what is your favorite part about UM-Dearborn?
Well, I would say, bar none, it's the students. Your smiling faces, your stories, your inspiration is an inspiration to me. When I meet you and first starting to get to know you, to see your growth, and then to actually help you walk through your marathon, because as you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint to health profession school. And getting to know your stories, particularly as I help you tell your story and put voice to your story in your application process. And then ultimately, when I get to hear your success, which can be defined as getting accepted, can be defined as getting an interview, can be defined simply as hitting submit on your application, can be getting that internship, getting that research spot, getting an award, just being happy to even have a great, successful meeting. So it's so many different things, but it's always working with you. Ali?
Yeah, I'll chime in as well. I'll share that I'm pretty new to the University of Michigan-Dearborn campus. I started mid-March working in health professions advising, but also working with our START office with our new students on campus. And so I'll just say that my favorite part so far has just been how welcoming everybody who I've been in contact with has been towards me and toward all of our new students as well. I feel like a new student because I am just getting to know campus and whatnot, but everything I've learned I'm ready to pass along to our students.
Yeah, and we certainly are so appreciative of you both and the just in general the HPA team, just because it is just so helpful that y'all are here to help us when we're just confused about what we're doing with our lives, because it certainly is a marathon. And like what Mrs. P have said in the past, that we tend to just rush it, and it's just, that's certainly something that I feel that I need to work on, is to just slow down, because I just always feel like I'm constantly in motion and I should just take a deep breath.
Thank you for that, Christina. And now I guess we know that Ali started here pretty soon, but we're very, very excited to have her. And so I guess this is more targeted towards Mrs. P. How long have you been at UM-Dearborn? I know a lot of students want to know how much experience and how much history a person in your position has when they're helping out with someone on the health professions track.
Absolutely, and I understand that. Well, to the University of Michigan-Dearborn, I have been here since 2016, so only 4 years. However, to the University of Michigan as a whole, I worked in the Ann Arbor campus, specifically the medical school, for 16 years. I was in the diversity office as assistant director of the diversity office, working closely with admissions for over 10 years. So I worked on the other side of advising for a very long time, and actually learned my pre-med advising from the former director of admissions at the University of Michigan Medical School. I've been a director or lead health professions advisor and health professions advising for over 10 years now.
That's amazing. So I know we can definitely trust you with this kind of information for sure.
The reason you trust me is because this is my passion. I live and breathe health professions advising. You hope your organic professor or your physics professor lives and breathes organic chemistry or biochemistry for your biochemistry faculty. I live and breathe health professions advising. It's my shtick. It's what I get into. It's what I spend my time getting to learn, the newest research, the newest topics. When the medical schools hand out new information, when the COVID thing came out, I was on top of it like white on rice. You can ask Ali what I was doing. I'm definitely trying to do my best to stay on top of the latest and greatest information to pass it on to all of you.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, speaking of how you've only been here for around 4 years, how would you describe your environment, the environment on campus and the community aspect? And what is also your favorite part about this aspect?
I'll go first, but I'll certainly let Ali chime in. I had been at a small liberal arts college as lead health professions advisor there and director of health professions advising. And I was really worried coming to UM-Dearborn that it would not be the same small campus feel and community feeling. And I was completely wrong. I love that the campus is small feeling, that there's a sense of community, that the students are really connected to each other. And that's how I describe the campus, that there's a real sense of family and community. And I would say my favorite part of Dearborn, again, is still the students. It's definitely the students. It's always, for me, it's always about students. And that's probably my favorite part. I don't know if there's a favorite part of campus, a physical location, because I confess I'm always in my office advising students. I only get out when I go to the START office for meetings, but I do enjoy campus in the summertime because it's such a beautiful campus.
And I can chime in a little bit just because from my perspective, like I've been working at a lot of different campuses and universities prior to UMD. And so coming here, even just virtually, I've been blown away by how much we've been able to adapt and really attend to the student experience, in these difficult times. And then also, I've been so blown away by the Health Professions Advising Program and the curriculum and all the supports. Anywhere else I've been, I have not seen anything that's maybe so in-depth and so able to customize according to the students' needs and just provide that support from beginning to end. So I think that's really a testament to Mrs. P's passion, and then just the collaborations that are available as students are really getting started at campus.
I definitely agree with you both. The community aspect at UM-Dearborn is amazing, and the campus, although freshman year, it does feel very, very big. By the second semester, you have it all figured out, and the UC is the hub for everything, and you know how the library works, and definitely the community aspect is what I love about it. And you don't get that same feeling when you go to those really big universities where you're sitting in a classroom of 500 students, and you don't even get to see the professor. So I love that aspect about it. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, I also second that, Sarah, just because, especially when, since we're all on the pre-health track, we certainly need each other to help guide one another to be successful towards like our prerequisite courses and just going through all of the difficult material together. And I feel that personally, community has certainly helped me with being able to push through the difficult times because of that community aspect, especially like when studying in groups at the library or even at the Natural Science Center building and the Science Learning Center.
So we both know that as advisor and director, you both have a lot of responsibilities. And so we just basically want to know what you guys take care of and for the students to know what they should come to you for. So if you guys take that away.
I'll start. As director, I oversee the entire offerings and programs in the HPA office. That includes everything from when a student starts. So you might see me at orientation and I start telling you what to do to get started. So I deliver all the HPA new student sessions, and a new student session is required to meet with the HPA team. I also provide everything on the website. The HPA website is a tool that you will use throughout your entire years at Dearborn. The HPA website was created by yours truly and is updated every year, but Ali helps me with those updates because I'm kind of blind to the website sometimes. But in addition to the website, I make sure that I connect with all the schools for all of the prerequisites. So for medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, OT, PT, PA, vet, all of the 13 pre-health tracks, I make sure that I updates for all the different schools, whether it's in the region, in the state. I'm also responsible for the program delivery. So we have 3 major programs within the HPA office. So the MRAP, the Emergency Medicine Research Associate Program, the Pre-Med Mentoring Program, and the Health Profession Schools Fair. I also serve as the faculty advisor to 5 pre-health student groups, including PPHS and PHI-DE, which are the 2 big groups. And finally, I help Ali. I've trained Ali and I've trained Gwen on health professions advising so that we have services available all year round for freshmen and sophomores who are doing early entry pre-health advising, while I am working with the upperclassmen who are applying to medical school, dental school, vet school, pharmacy school, all of the health professions graduate schools during the spring and summer. So ironically, spring and summer are my busiest times of year because I'm working with the applicants in great detail, helping them submit their applications. And so it used to be in the early years that I could not see anyone during the summer but an applicant. And now we can usually offer services to anyone all year round because Gwen and Ali are able to meet with students and while I'm working with the applicants. Ali?
think you pretty well covered it. There to support you during your busiest times. Right now, I'm in a big stage of, learning and being in training so that I can absorb all the information and make sure that I'm passing it along as accurately as possible to the students and helping to answer their questions and come up to some of those problem-solving situations.
Gwen and Ali probably have no idea how much the help students are available to students, because in my first 2 years, in the spring and summer, we would literally run out of appointment availability to meet with a health professions advisor. And now that Gwen and Ali are on board, there are services almost all year round so that someone can meet with an advisor as long as you make it to a new student session.
I agree. I think definitely the resources that we have on campus, such as the HPA, we do take it for granted. A lot of other universities don't have this kind of thing. So when you have someone like Ali and Gwen and Mrs. P to sort of just sit down with and really figure everything out for the next 4 years of your, career, it's very, very important. We're also very grateful for it.
Well, thank you.
What is another aspect that you favor that's a part of your job other than students? I know that it's a big part that is just meeting us, and we love interacting with you, but what is another part of your job that you really do hold dearly to your heart?
I'll share a piece of that. And I think that this goes kind of beyond even just looking at health professions advising, but it goes into like just the work that we can do in an educational setting. Is that sometimes, a student is working through a challenge at a place, like UMD, right? And we hear about it and we're able to make changes so that their experience improves and other students can benefit from that. And it's just so cool to be in a position where we can say, oh, wow, this student is seeking this and maybe we don't have this available right now, so let's help to create it and let's let folks know, and let's kind of work toward that. So it's really exciting, and I think that's part of what we encourage from students is to share your experience so that we can help to make those changes. And so for better or for worse, we want to hear from you.
I will build on that, and I will share something of a personal story. When I was in your stage in college, I often heard no, and not a lot of the times, but a few times I heard no. And it was never clear to me if I was hearing no because I was a woman, or I was a woman of color, or if I was small, or if someone just didn't think I could do these things. And I was a very tenacious woman. They often called me Tenacious Tahnee, and I did it anyway. And it's because I had great mentors. I had people I could turn to who encouraged me and said, actually, you can, but here's what you need to do. You need to work hard. You need to learn to believe in yourself. I will believe in you until you believe in you. And one day I asked a great mentor how I could pay him back. And he said to me, you will never be able to pay me back, but you can pay it forward. And so the opportunity to be able to pay forward what this great mentor did for me is what I love doing with students. Because when that happens, when I see a student who has been told maybe by someone else that they couldn't do it, or they've run into a situation where they think all is lost, or maybe they've been rejected, or maybe they've run in their personal mission is to serve the underserved community. And I say to them, then let's make your dream come true. Then I help them build those building blocks, and they do the work, but they're willing to listen to good advice. Together, being able to build that story and help them on their journey, the marathon and their mission together is what I love. So again, it's still about the students, but it's helping them find their voice, helping them be on part of that marathon with them and being part of that journey. So it's exactly what Ali said. It's that challenge. And for me, it's a challenge I absolutely love.
Yes. And another thing to add on to the analogy of it being a marathon, I just say well, if someone falls down, you're not going to just stay there. You're going to try to get yourself back up and running. And we're certainly glad that y'all are there to help us get back up on the right track. Pun not intended, but yeah, we're certainly grateful that we could get back up, and especially if it's towards a passion of yours that you're so truly like passionate about. I don't know how else to describe that, but your passion will shine through, and even if so to say your journey gets sidetracked, um, it should you should always be able to get your dream to come true. And I think that's for all of us, to just serve our community through medicine, and that's what the HPA team is here for.
And I definitely like what Ali said about using the experiences of all the students, good or bad, because, and I remember Miss P saying this, you can't, go up to someone who's a doctor right now and tell them, how should I get into med school? Because things are constantly changing in medicine and the way the world advances. So the fact that you're keeping up with that by asking students the good and the bad, how you can change it for other students, is definitely what keeps it going and what ensures that everyone can continue with their future. So what would you classify as the common mistakes that pre-health track students make? Sorry, I can't see the bottom of that one. So
And how do you guide them towards getting back on the right track?
Well, I would say it depends on where they're coming in. If it's a new student, I would say that often new students are very excited, which is what I love, but they think they have to do this as fast as possible, as fast as possible. And this is my famous, whoa, slow down, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Do well in your classes. Put doing well academically first and foremost. In your first semester, freshman year, first semester transfer year, get used to us academically. Don't worry about all the other things you have to do. Get used to us academically. Because we are a university and things are at the university level, get used to us academically and put the emphasis on doing well academically, because GPA matters. If you are an upperclassman and you have gotten used to us academically and you're adding on the community service and the teamwork and leadership and research and all the other things, the competencies, then you're getting overwhelmed and you have forgotten your mission. You've forgotten the whole reason why you're doing this, and you're becoming a checklist applicant. You're becoming I just got to do this and this and this and this, and I'm looking at my peers and I'm looking at my friends, and my friend said to do this, and my friend said to do research, and my friend said to do this, and my friend said to, and you're coming to me and telling me what your friends have said, and I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, and suddenly you realize, wait a minute, I'm telling the professions advising what my friends have said. And this is a woman who was trained by the University of Michigan Medical School. Do you see what I'm saying? So I always tell the upperclassmen who get so overwhelmed, take a deep breath, think about your why, and let's talk about this. And then again, we go through a mini mission training, and you'll learn about mission, and you'll learn about your competencies and what all these things mean, because you're probably listening to this going, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? We'll come to a new student session and I will teach you. I will teach you things that you need to know to get ready for the marathon. So let me help you, because that's my role. That's what Ali's role is. That's what Gwen's role is, to help you so you don't get overwhelmed on the marathon. The marathon is a slow and steady pace. And we, Gwen and Ali, are here. We're like breaks in the marathon. We're going to give you water. We're going to help run with you. We're going to cheer you on. But don't get out on that marathon trying to sprint, running by yourself, because you're going to trip and fall. So let us help you. Okay? So that's my suggested advice.
And based on what I'm hearing, and also what I've seen a little bit, is students sometimes react like they're robots, right? Like they're working toward this thing and they're just going to follow all the steps and they're like a machine. And we're not robots. We are humans. We have emotions. We have needs. We have, sometimes all this pressure can lead to us, impacting our health and our well-being. And I just agree so much with Mrs. P. Like, make sure you're using the supports that you have available to you, whether it is us or whether it's the other awesome resources available to you as a University of Michigan-Dearborn student. The last thing we want is for that passion you have to fizzle out, for it to burn you out, and then all of a sudden now you don't get to become whatever it is that you have dreamed for so long. You lost that passion. So work hard, don't get us wrong, but at the same time, make sure that, you're enjoying your college experience and you're attending to what you need as a living, breathing human versus a pre-health track robot.
Yeah, I certainly agree that we tend to like burn ourselves out just because we believe that we have to be getting every single thing done like now. And because of y'all giving us the metaphorical water to keep going, we won't burn out that way. And another thing that I've seen personally is that I didn't at first, like even as a high school student, I was not asking for help. And going into UM-Dearborn and noticing all of these great resources to help us pre-health track students get the material and understand and retain that material for medical school or whatever graduate school you're going. I just tend to think that asking for help is just the main thing that students need to understand in order to be on the right track. Like I personally went to Math Learning Center, Science Learning Center, supplemental instruction. I even just kept on constantly studying in groups at the library. And I personally found that without the help of your community or your group, you just you're gonna fizzle out without the help of your community around you. So that's just a common mistake that I've seen, that students are just afraid of asking for help.
So this is sort of a look at the website for the Health Professions Advising. They have a lot of information, and I'm not even going to try to go into any of it because I'm sure Mrs. P and Ali could do a lot better job.
So I would tell you that the best thing that you can do is on the Health Professions Advising website is someday when you're bored, I know that seems like a rare day, but sometime when you're bored, is really take some time to get to know the Health Professions Advising website. I introduced it to you at orientation, and I encouraged you to look at it. On the main homepage are the two rectangles, the curriculum and the FAQs, and then on the right side is the programs. The programs are the three programs I mentioned earlier, and then the curriculum is all the tracks, the health professions tracks and the FAQs. And really the best advice I can give you is just click on each of them and spend some time reading them over. If you have questions, you can email us, which we will tell you at the end of the email. But you can learn about our acceptance rates on the main page, and then on the two rectangles, learn more about our programs and the different advising tracks and our frequently asked questions. The most important thing I can tell you is the website is updated on a yearly basis, and the curriculums are updated theoretically 2 times a year. This website is a living document. I keep it updated on a regular basis because I want it useful to you. This is not a static document. It's very important that you have the right information at your fingertips. The quick links at the very bottom of the page are the main, the most popular health professions tracks that students use, but the curriculum will also take you there as well. Ali, I didn't know if you had any other insights. Since you're new to the page, you might have an insight that I'm very used to the page, so.
I'll just, emphasize again those frequently asked questions. As someone who is, still learning a lot of these pieces, I will say that students ask the questions that are on that main page most regularly. There have been very few that haven't been included on that page until, they get maybe a little bit further along and the questions become a little more nuanced. So if you have questions at this point in your journey early on, jump on that website for the Health Professions Advising and investigate that a little bit further, and chances are you will have a pretty good answer for the wait time.
And I think also the use of the website when it tells you what classes you need to take, that's very, very helpful. For me, I printed out the sheet, and as I take each class, I highlight it through and I know where I'm at and what else I need to do. For example, what more classes I need to take in the next coming years, and I can plan out my schedule early. That's just for me, but it's definitely a very useful website, and the fact that it's updated annually is what keeps you on track.
Sarah, you are not alone in doing that. Lots of students do that. The only thing is, just remember it's updated, so you have to print out a new one. It's every December or January for sure, because that's when I usually update it. Great job.
Okay, so what would y'all say is the most challenging task that you have as an APA director and an advisor?
Well, do you want to go first, Ali?
I don't know if I have an answer yet.
Well, I certainly have an answer. I've categorized it as two things: time and myths. Time. I just don't have enough time to see and help everyone I want to help. There's so many pre-health track students on campus, and I know I'm not seeing everyone, and I know I'm not helping as many people as I would like to help. And 24 hours in a day is just not enough time for me to get everything done I want to get done. And sometimes I get into this, I got to save the world, I got to get every student. And sometimes 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year is just not enough time for me to get everything I want to get done. So I've had to really work on my time management, and my sense of how many people I want to work with and help at the same time. Yet I know that students insist. I've done a lot to make a difference, so I try to work around my anxiety of my time. And I'm so grateful that Gwen and Ali are helping me, because I know that we are meeting more students and getting more unmet need addressed. Myths. There are so many myths. If I had $1 for every myth and bad myth there was out there, I'd be a rich woman and I could retire, although I would never retire because I love what I do. But I often start out sessions with various myths, and I can run a whole session on just all the bad myths that are out there for getting into medical school, vet school, dent school, PA, PT, pharmacy school. So I would say that as much as you guys like to advise each other, I really recommend, and it's not just myths for health profession school, it's myths about doing well in college, myths about other things. So I think in a previous slide, you talked about mistakes that students make. I think the biggest mistake, and I think Christina and Sarah talked about it, is really getting help. Yes, it's great getting help from your peers, but it's great getting help from mentors and professors and faculty and people who are here to help you do the job, whether it's the Math Learning Center or supplemental instruction. Getting help early is critical. It's very important, because you are learning new skills. You are learning new abilities and new information, all of which is going to help you later. So the sooner you get the help, the better. Now, this may be hard because you're like, I was top in my class in high school. I never had to study in high school. Well, we're not in high school anymore. We're at university. And at university, the game is tracked up even higher, engaged higher, for you to get ready for graduate school. Remember, your health professions track. And health professions track means you want to save lives. You want to impact lives. And those lives are the lives of your family, your friends, your pets. And therefore, you have to up your game. And upping your game means you have to be willing and have the humility and the humbleness to ask for help. And that's okay. And that is a big challenging task as director for me to impose, or not impose, but impart that lesson to you. But when you do learn how to ask for help, it's a great skill to have.
I'll share a challenging aspect. I think this goes for advising in general, but definitely for health professions advising, is when things don't go as planned for a student. And that can look a zillion different ways, but it's challenging as an to meet with a student about that, because I mean, there may be an easy answer. Okay, we're going to pivot and this is what you're going to do, and awesome, we're on the same page. But other times there's not an easy answer, and other times it's like, oh darn, now this is going to take longer, or now I have to go and figure this out, maybe talk to somebody else about it. And so I would say those challenging conversations, you know, they're hard to have, but they're really important. And sometimes those bumps in the road, it's what actually brings a student to where they need to be anyway. So, you know, maybe it's one of those, ooh, I wish I weren't having this conversation, but by the end of it, we're like, you know, I'm so glad that we were able to have that conversation and that things could change the way that they did. Maybe it's, oh no, my GPA dropped a little bit this semester. Oh, I wish that had never happened, but maybe look what you learned as a result. And now you're even stronger than you were before. And you have a little bit of a story to tell about how you were able to overcome that. So I think that, you know, that's a frequent conversation we have, is just, oh, well, this didn't go as I expected. Nope, it didn't, but we're going to work together and figure out, you know, how you can move to the next step anyway.
Yes. Sorry. I certainly agree, just because we all learn from our own mistakes, and especially being a student, and yeah, like sure, our GPAs could drop a little bit, and it's because maybe we didn't put as much time as we thought we should have put in, and or not have gotten help when we needed it. But I feel like as though that may have happened, that's an important factor to grasp when we are on a pre-health track, because then you learn from your mistakes, and that it kind of helps you gain those problem-solving skills that you will need when you are in the profession that you are in later in your life. And I just think that it's really beneficial, like just because sure, like it may have happened, but you learn from it, and that's life. So, and sorry, Mrs. P.
Nope, I was supporting Ali completely. There are some times when you have to have a difficult conversation about a difficult situation, but if there's some good life lesson you can learn from it, that's great.
And definitely the asking for help is something that requires adjusting to for everyone. We don't always feel comfortable going and asking for help from people. But when you realize that there's people out there who want the same for you and want the best for you, you will become more comfortable. And ultimately, no one ever made it in life by just doing things on their own. It's other people that help build you up. So when you take advantage of these kind of resources, that's how you end up to where you want to be. That's how you end up in a white coat, and that's how you end up as a doctor or a nurse or whatever you want to be. All right, so what are your top 3 words of advice for incoming pre-health track students?
I've got a couple. I might have 2, and I'll work on a third if I can start. My first one is about this whole idea of asking for help. And it's not just, okay, ask for help, like that's easy, fine. We'll say we do it, but then it's really hard when you need to. So what I would say is actually don't just plan to ask for help, plan to ask for help before you really need it. If you're in a class and you are really not understanding the lesson, it's going to be hard to go up to the instructor afterwards and be like, yeah, so I'm lost. Whereas if you are working on a homework assignment and you didn't understand a certain problem, you know, you could just skip it over. It'll be fine. You're not going to fail, but ask for help then, because then you'll be way more comfortable when you have a bigger problem to discuss with the chapter. And that goes for so many things. I mean, it could be for scheduling classes and, you need to ask for help there. Schedule an appointment early on before you're, oh no, the deadline's coming up, I need to register, whatever it might be. And then you'll be prepared and ready, and it'll be a lot less stressful. So that's that first one, is practice asking for help. Another one is to get involved, and that's not just in the classroom, that's out of the classroom. And I think that's especially true for health professions or pre-health track students, is making sure that you're not just there in the classroom to get the grades. You've got a lot more going on. You're a full package applicant for the program that you've got your eyes on, and it makes things more fun. You are excited about being in college. You're really embracing the experience, and you've got a story to tell. And maybe I'll incorporate that as my last bit of advice, is to have fun. Make sure that if somebody were to ask you, what fun thing did you do recently as a part of your college experience, that you have a good answer. You didn't just say, well, I studied all night the other night and that's all. Have fun. It is a good time. And I'll say that, my 4 years of college were 4 of the best years of my life so far. So definitely embrace it.
I would say one, especially for pre-health track students, never miss a supplemental instruction, an SI session. Never miss. When I look at the students who have successfully gone on to dental, medical, vet, pharmacy, PAPT school, I will ask them this question, and they will always say, never miss an SI. Never miss an SI. Don't miss class. Don't schedule another class. Don't schedule work. Don't schedule family time. Don't just be an SI. And then become an SI instructor. It will really be helpful to you. So that's one. Two, don't be afraid of the faculty, including your favorite, Mrs. P. We are not here. I'm not faculty, but everyone assumes I am. The advisors, the faculty, the staff, we are not here, or let me rephrase it. We are here to help you. We chose U of M-Dearborn because we are a helping campus, a supportive campus. So go to office hours. And what that means is the faculty person has cleared their schedule and they want to see you to answer questions, to work with you. That means they're sitting in their office doing nothing else. So, and you have already paid them good money. So go there, even if it's a small talk to get to know them. So go to office hours, and it's intimidating at first. I remember I didn't do it, not until Organic 2. And then I was really sorry I hadn't done it for Organic 1. Yes, I took organic chemistry. So the point being is that you really need to use all of your resources. When I invite you to the new student session and you attend, and then I invite you to schedule your appointments with Gwen, Ali, and myself, don't be that freshman who doesn't do it and then doesn't see me until junior year, wonders why you have no relationship with us. You need to build your relationship with the advising team early. And then finally, my last piece of advice is this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Always, always remember that. You don't need to be the jackrabbit. These schools are not, they've been around since the 1800s. They're not going to close up shop and run away just because you're coming. Believe me, take your time. Do it well. Enjoy the experience known as college. Have fun. Breathe. Do not become a robot, okay? Do not become a checklist applicant. You have to do a lot of other things. So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, I just wanted to also just mention how the office hours aspect, it should be very well out there for people to notice that they are available to be there and help you. Most people that I've noticed don't want to go just because they're like, oh, I don't need help. I know I got everything in the bag. And I just kind of wanted to add on, like, if you are on a pre-vet track, there's a myth that says, like, oh, I joined the pre-vet track because I don't like people. That is certainly a myth, because you will always be in contact with people as well as animals. And I feel that, just going back to the office hours thing, you have to know and connect with your community. If you're not going to do that, then why? What's the why? Like, why are you in the profession that you're in? It's to impact and connect with people around you. So don't be afraid to go to office hours, because it's just to talk to someone about your day or how they're doing. So just connect with people on campus and everywhere you go. That's my advice.
And definitely what Mrs. P said about, showing up junior year and with an appointment and you haven't built that connection, you're going to realize when you get to your junior year, your senior year, and you're filling out the application and they're asking for recommendation letters and you never spoke to a professor, the professor doesn't know who you are, Mrs. P doesn't know who you are, the advisors don't know who you are, because you never took advantage of those resources. So if you really want, it's going to end up mattering at one point or another. So take advantage of it now, so that by your senior year, you're not stressing about those little things that don't matter. You're stressing about, okay, I got to write this application really well. Now I got to go convince this teacher to give me a recommendation letter, even though they don't know me. So take advantage of it now.
Excellent advice.
Which websites or resources do you suggest that pre-health track students should take the most advantage of?
Well, I recommend the HPA URL, which we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's very simple to get to. It's UM-Dearborn.edu /HPA. You can just type in Google UM-Dearborn plus HPA and it'll come right up. You can also go to the U of M Dearborn homepage, and in the custom Google, just type in HPA and it'll be the very first web page that comes up. But that is definitely the website I recommend. Once you attend a new student session and attend one of those, you'll get access to the Google Classroom, the HPA General Information Google Classroom, but the Google Classroom is not available to you until you attend a new student session.
And I, second everything that Mrs. P said. I will chime in that fall semester, in a lot of ways, some services are online or virtual, or we're kind of, shifting a little bit. And I think that websites and resources are, at your fingertips. There's all these various things that we've mentioned. And if you're kind of curious, well, how can I utilize that in the fall? Hop on the UMD website, check it out. We have lots of updates for you about how things are going to look for your fall semester, and everything will still be there for you. It might look a little bit different than maybe it has in the past. So we're really excited to, maintain all of those various services, especially things like, hey, tutoring. You're taking a class that might seem challenging right now as you're registering for classes. See what kinds of tutoring you can take advantage of in the fall, and we'll be able to support you all the way through fall semester.
And Ali, am I correct? They can go to the Canvas orientation site and see some resources available to them, right?
Yep, those are listed there too. And then even more updated resources are on the websites as things are being updated.
Okay, all right.
And also one more, Ali is a part of START Advising, and START is basically just targeted towards freshman students. So freshmen have their own advising separate from everyone else. So that's a really big thing to take advantage of, pre-health track or not. You have advisors specific for you, and I know my advisor helped me so much in planning out my schedule and changing my major. So definitely take advantage of that as a freshman.
That is excellent advice, Sarah, and I meant to say that in the advice section. If you get lost, no matter what, you can't remember anything that has been said to you at any point in time, always go to your START advisor. Always go to your START advisor and say, this is my question, and they will be able to help you pivot to whatever resource is available to help in that question area.
Definitely. One-stop shop. Stop on by, whether it be virtual or otherwise, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So a lot of questions that students will have is they want to meet one-on-one with a member of the HPA team. So they want to know how they should go about scheduling that appointment, what requirements they have, and what they need to do.
Well, we are happy to see anyone and everyone, but the first thing we ask is they attend an HPA new student session. So an HPA NSS is required of all students to meet with a member of the HPA team. For fall, the dates of the new student session are on the Canvas orientation website and on the Start Canvas website. So students can go to that website. In addition, in early fall, I will email an invitation to everyone with those same dates. But if they want to look at those dates now, they can look at the Canvas orientation site and the Start Canvas site. Once they choose a new student session, they only need to choose one session to attend, and they don't need to RSVP. They will attend a new student session, and a new student session is a 2-hour session where they will learn everything they could possibly ever dream of wanting to know and becoming onboarded to their health profession's journey. And tips and tricks as they move towards both getting ready for their pre-med, pre-dent, pre-vet, pre-farm, pre-health professions journey, and then moving towards their application and their mission. And then once they attend that session and their attendance is recorded, then they can make an appointment. I will give them instructions at that time on how they can make their appointment.
Thank you, Mrs. P. What do you find the most rewarding about working at UM-Dearborn as an HPA director and as an advisor?
For me as director, I'm doing my own mission. And my own mission is really has been or is helping students who really helping them find their own voice, helping them find their sense of their own missions, and helping them apply those missions to health professions and how they want to do that, and then putting that whole story together and what is the application process, and then help seeing them actually go forth and doing that. That looks unique to each student. And so what I enjoy is that it's like a puzzle piece for each student. What Sarah is going to do and her mission is unique to Sarah. And even though Sarah is doing pre-medicine and might want to work with underserved and disadvantaged communities, and that may be what you, Christina, want to do, and even though it's pre-vet, it's still going to be unique because you've each done different things in your journeys to get where you want to get, and you each want to do different health professions. Even if you were going to do the same health profession, you were each done unique experiences unique to you and how you reflect on them to help you get to where you want to go. I like helping you tell that story, find your voice, helping you understand the very complicated process that is the application process, and helping you be successful in that process. From beginning to end is the part that I most enjoy, although I'm not always capable of doing that, and that's why I have Gwyneth and Ali helping me. But it is wonderful to be able to see a student be successful. And my mission has always been to help people find their voice, helping them journey along a complicated maze and being successful.
I would build on that a little bit. I relate a lot to kind of the things that you had said, Mrs. P. And I think that for me, it stems a lot from how I view my position. I've had a lot of different positions and titles at colleges and universities, and the role that most fits kind of what I like to do is to coach students. And coaching isn't so much as like being on a sports field and coaching students in that respect, but coaching them along with whatever path or goal that they have in mind. And so the really cool thing about working with health professions track students is that, they have this very more specific goal in mind, and I'm able to kind of be that stop along the way to kind of help them along to that. And just like Mrs. P says, we're not there maybe from the very beginning, because the very beginning might have been back when they were in, a freshman in high school and they first were starting to be interested in it, or the very beginning might look very different for each student. But we're also not at the very end. We don't necessarily get to see when the students are first, in their office for the first time as a professional either, but we're somewhere in the middle. And I think it's just so exciting to be able to support students in that way. We get to do that just about every day in our jobs. And how cool is it to kind of be able to do what you love and working with students? It's just awesome.
And I think that unique aspect is very important, as Mrs. P said, because when you're going to be applying to med schools, they want that high GPA and they do want that high MCAT score. But they can find so many people who have that. They want an actual person. They want a human being who has passions and who wants to help people and who actually has a certain target goal. So they don't just want a walking checklist. They want a unique experience. So when you turn in the application, it's not going to be, this is my GPA and this is my MCAT. No, you're going to be, this is the kind of person I am. This is where I started off and this is where I want to end up. And this is the kind of passion I have that's going to drive me to becoming a doctor or a vet or a dentist or whatever you want to end up being. So don't lose that part of yourself. Don't just commit straight to the GPA and the MCAT score. Don't forget that you're still doing this and you're still a human being and you're doing it for your own reason. And that reason is going to differ from person to person. So I guess we're almost about to finish up. So any fun facts about you, Ali, or Mrs. P that you guys would like to share?
Oh, I hope we all participate in this. Well, I will share. People are often surprised to hear that I am actually a water skier and a wakeboarder. Yes, old Mrs. P's out there cutting it up on the water.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, ooh, I can't sport. Because as much as I'd want to, I feel like I'd probably injure myself, because I'm just a human being. I don't trust myself in those situations. But you go, Mrs. P.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of water, so I commend you for that, Mrs. P. I like to stay away from anything like that. So
I usually shock a lot of people when there's nothing about me that would make you think that that's what I do. But and when I say water ski, I water ski on one ski too, and I get up on one ski. So yes. So
that's amazing. I'm with Sarah. I avoid water. I avoid sport usually. That is a fun fact.
I don't know how interesting I am to say any fun facts about me, honestly. I feel like I've only been alive for a fraction of my life, so I don't think I've gotten that interesting yet. I hope to be, though. But honestly, one big thing I love thrifting. I know it's gotten really popular now to shop at thrift stores, but the experience of going there and finding something really unique and really beautiful that you wouldn't see in those generic, fashion stores. So that's something that's I really love doing. And I've been doing it for a couple of years, so I'm surprised to see that it's picked up some momentum lately.
it has. My sister loved to thrift. Yeah.
I love it. It's so
My
fun.
dress is thrifted. I love thrifting.
It's the best thing.
Yeah. I personally, because of the whole current situation and that we're in, I found I rejuvenated my love for singing on YouTube and just being on YouTube in general, and just like dabbling in trying to learn the guitar and just just singing, drawing, and everything. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Oh, and I would be traveling right now if this wasn't happening. I've been to almost all 50 states, so I think that's a fun fact.
Yeah, I think this pandemic is as bad as it may be. People are starting to pick up on those little things that they left behind, those little quirks that they liked and practicing new things. And obviously, we'd all be out of the house, but the fact that a lot of people are now sitting down and having dinner with the family, what they never used to do before. So I guess you have to look at the little things like that. So I'm really impressed, Christina. I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. So I think
I'm
you should
certainly
really stick
trying.
to it. Stick
That's
to
a
it.
goal of mine too. I can't play. I own a guitar, but that's awesome that, yeah, you're playing, and I'd love to learn.
So I guess the last thing is we're finishing up the contact information. I know Mrs. P could probably explain this a lot better, but she's gone over the website so many times. And that's a reason for that. It's a very, very helpful website, and the email as well. So as she said, attend that first student session. That's what's going to help you the most. When I attended it, she's not going to sit there and give you boring information. It's stuff that you really genuinely need. Bring a notebook and bring a pen and write down everything that she says. So definitely take advantage of that. Anything Ali or Mrs. P want to add? Also, if Ali, you want to include the start advising information for freshmen, that would be definitely helpful.
Sure. I mean, just as far as contacting START, we have a website that y'all can access, and you can definitely email our general START email address, and you will be connected to a START advisor according to what your major is.
And Sarah's right, bring a pen to my session because I impart a lot of information. You won't be bored.
Yes, Mrs. P. We definitely will have I'm literally bringing my notebook to tomorrow's session. So make sure you can have a pen and a notebook and just write everything you learn from Mrs. P, because she certainly has a lot of information up her sleeve.
Yeah.
But since this podcast is coming to an end, I would just like to thank Ali and Mrs. P for joining us and just chatting with us. We truly, truly appreciate it. And there's going to be more podcasts available coming up within the next month and so. So be sure to check those out. We certainly would like to thank you all for listening, and see you in the next one.